Hi, I'm Brett Davis. I'm the editor inside Unmanned Systems magazine. We are here in the Autonomous Media booth talking with some of the industry heavy hitters, and right now we have Cameron Baird, Patrick Casiano, and I'm going to let them explain these companies, but it's RX Networks and Unicore. So, gentlemen, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
If you would quickly just tell us your titles, and then let's talk a little bit about the interchange of the company.
Awesome.
The interflow.
Do you want to go ahead, Patrick?
Sure. My name is Patrick Casiano. I am the Director of Product Marketing here at RX Networks, and we are a GNSS data services company headquartered in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah, my name is Cameron Baird. I'm Head of Business Development for GNSS hardware products, primarily Unicore GNSS technology.
So tell us a little bit about these two companies, how they work together, a little bit of that history.
Cam, did you want to start with that one?
Well, so from a Unicore, both Unicore and RX Networks share a parent. So we're two sisters of one parent, and the hardware company utilizes services that the services side provides. Likewise, the services side utilizes hardware from the hardware company.
Yes. Yeah. And so yes, RX Networks is owned by BD Star. We're a sister company of Unicore there. So yes, it's a symbiotic relationship when it comes to services and hardware. Hardware performs best when it's connected to a service, and services can only realize their true potential through hardware. And so that's what kind of makes it a fit.
And I think we'll come back to that because there's an important point to be made there. But first, tell us a little bit about what you are showing and talking to people here at the show.
So this being primarily a drone show, even though there are other types of autonomous vehicles here, we're concentrating on our latest GNSS technology, the UM900 series products. So there's a range of positioning products, there's a range of positioning and orientation products, which are really applicable to the drone market. The UM982, it's a sort of a thumbnail-sized module. It's produced, in millions of units on an annual basis that are utilized in drone-type technologies throughout the world. The size of the products, the power savings, cost savings of these modules make it very beneficial for integrators who are looking for high precision, RTK or service-type correction services, and easy to integrate in a small form factor.
Yeah, so I mean, that's all you do, right? Is the modules you don't
Strictly
do like
100% modules. From the chipsets, the chip is integrated into the module is then integrated into a product, be it a drone, be it whatever. These modules are used in aviation, in automobiles, in marine markets, in survey markets. Unicore, from a hardware perspective, are probably one of the largest producers of GNSS modules for markets like the survey industry. You don't necessarily see the name Unicore out there, but you'll see many receivers that utilize Unicore technology. And the reason that these companies have adopted this technology again is because cost saving, small form factor, power saving units.
And you are able to produce like sizable numbers. Is this?
I don't have actual numbers, but numbers are there's many digits behind the numbers.
Okay. I mean, that's an important point. For a growing industry.
From a module perspective, there's a handful of companies that produce quality or produce product of certain quality at that scale. I think other things to keep in mind, I think, when you're looking at modules is the adaptability of the product to correction services, because correction services, as Patrick mentioned earlier, are extremely important to the end user. And there's pay for services, there's free services such as the Galileo Haas, which is coming up, and we've very soon, I think our next firmware build will be supporting the Haas. So that will provide centimeter to decimeters level accuracy globally for the user.
Well, this is kind of where this gets back to the synergy that we touched on a minute ago. So the providing of the correction services that can accompany these modules. So talk a little bit about that, if you would.
So part of RX Network's goal is to make that universal corrections service. We know that in GNSS modules, there are different positioning techniques, and there are different protocols that get applied to these corrections, and what you get is almost segmented products. So with the partner with Unicore, we know that these, with how small and how cost effective these modules are, these almost have a place in every device, mass market or high-end applications. And having a correction service in all of those just gives the buyers more options as to whatever service they want to have with that Unicore module there. So that's where we see it there. Yeah.
So they could tap into the new signal that you were talking about, correction service,
It's
but
up to the user.
Up to the user.
But they have the option of
Yeah.
going with you.
Yeah, what you'll find with correction services is different areas of the world have different coverage, right? So even though you might have a global PPP solution, you might not have the connectivity to it. So you might have to use a different kind of correction service to there. RX Networks just wants to be part of that, being able to provide all of that corrections there.
And this isn't a high-tech point exactly, but I believe you said that you also serve as the North American distributor.
Yes.
Right. So let's talk about that, because that's, again, with all the supply chain issues that we're hearing about, that seems like an important point.
What we've done is, I've come on board to establish sort of a sales support service network in North America. It's a slow process, but nothing happens overnight. But part of that as well, though, is bringing the Unicore name to North America, because even though Unicore technology has been used widely in North America, people don't realize that they're using it. And so it's important to have more of a North American presence, and we're doing it all sort of under one roof of BD Star companies, so as opposed to bringing in independent distribution networks. So we currently inventory products both in Canada as well as in the US, and available. We have FAE services available now in North America, so we're getting there slowly.
So are you sort of educating the industry here at the show, and are people surprised to learn what you just said, about the technology?
Yeah, we've debated, it's funny, it's interesting because we had a debate earlier, should we be at shows like this? And that was one of our partners' questioned, because at the end of the day, people here are looking at drones. They're not necessarily here to buy components, I think we should be here because this is where we meet the drone manufacturers or the companies who, could use our technology.
Yeah, and to hammer that point home, you think about a drone without a GNSS receiver on it. It's almost unthinkable, right? And further to that point, you think about a drone that's not connected, still unthinkable, right? So having RX Networks and Unicore here at the same time, providing two very important components, seems to make sense for all the drones here at the show, and on and the ground vehicles and anything else.
Yeah, we shouldn't limit it just to drones.
We can't limit it to drones. So yeah.
Drones and off-road classes vehicles.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you feel the industry is growing more knowledgeable about the need for precision GNSS for corrections?
Absolutely. My viewpoint on that is because of this initiative for beyond visual line of sight, you absolutely have to know the location of that receiver as accurately as possible. Even though it's still in the air, it might not hit the building, but you need to be able to control it with a high degree of confidence. The only way to do that is to have correction services and assistance services feeding that drone with extra data to help it achieve that true position. Chaotic relationship comes in. They need each other, but without one or the other, they don't function to their fullest potential.
And even beyond that, once you start talking about advanced air mobility, all that stuff, that's dependent on that.
Absolutely. And that's where we're positioning ourselves to be ready to serve that market there. So, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Anything else that we need to learn about this?
I guess the only other thing would be stop by booth number 4130, and
4130.
we'd be happy to talk to you.
Yes.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Cheers.